Damn. Even in the next generation, even years later, the 4th grade Shinobi War done passed. Everybody and their mother had kids in the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto's the damn Hokage. And still, Danzo strikes yet again. The motherfucker's dead. Sasuke bodied his ass. He got fucking destroyed, demolished. And Danzo somehow still is a thorn in the side of any motherfucker that just hates that crust fuck that died and got his ass whipped. So, this episode of Boruto, I almost said Naruto Shippuden, holy shit. This episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. I mean, we talked about it in the previous video about my feelings towards the revelation about Sumire. I liked seeing the character change in this episode in comparison to who she was established to be up until this point, because it was kind of like, damn, you fooled the fuck out of me. Maybe they should have dropped a couple hints here or there leading up until this episode from the very beginning. Maybe a little character slips here or there to showcase that she's not all that she claims to be. But nevertheless, it's like, okay, I think the involvement of Danzo and kind of adding Sai in there, and, you know, even Kakashi's history and whatnot with being in the Ambu and shit like that, I think that was a good element to make the Sumire situation a little bit more interesting than just like, yeah, one of Boruto's classmates is a fucking cunt. You know what I mean? Like, if that was the case, I'd be like, who cares? It's you know what I'm saying? So adding all of that in there, and then again her drastic character change where she's kind of like, well, not drastic, but you know, she was very timid. She was supposedly Hinata clone, and then now look, she's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So that was a nice element in there. But Danzo, bro, Danzo the type of motherfucker that don't respect women. You know what I'm saying? Danzo the type of motherfucker that refuses to crack a cold one with the boys. I'm sorry, man. I fucking hate Danzo. He's a real ninja. He's absolutely one of the realest ninjas in Naruto, the entirety of the story or whatever, because he would do whatever it takes. He, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I still fucking hate the cunt. And years later, he's still at it, using this little girl and having this Nue beast, which honestly, it kind of reminded me of like a tail beast or whatnot, but I'm imagining it's not to the magnitude of like the Kyuubi or whatever. Let's talk about the cock tease that we got. It was literally like a 10-second cock tease when Naruto starts going into his Kyuubi mode and they have to tell him to calm down. And like, oh, you know, you're gonna make a mistake. One, the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, granted he didn't have all the intel about this beast, but he immediately was going to make a huge mistake if it wasn't for Kakashi, and it kind of felt a little weird that the Hokage, regardless of, you know, their history or whatever, and of course it's understandable why it would be this way because of their history, but it really did feel a little bit like, to see the Hokage being told what to do, and not necessarily scolded, but in a way by somebody that's, you know, beneath him in a sense, even though Kakashi will always be his sensei, that'll always be like a father figure or a mentor towards him or whatnot. It's still a little bit like, imagine some motherfucker, I don't know, Mike Guy telling Sarutobi what to do. I'd be like, huh? You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit awkward. Again, it felt like such a cock tease to see Naruto getting ready to go. He got the Kyuubi chakra mode all around him and shit like that. And it's like, no. Not right now. We ain't getting that fucking cool action. So a little bit disappointed with that. But honestly, this episode, it feels as though a lot of the slice of life elements that we had, or not even necessarily just that, the freak of the week, so to speak, that we had to deal with up until this point, it kind of amounted to something, because let's be honest, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of episodes, not a lot, but there was a handful of episodes that it was kind of like, okay, you know, it was decent or whatever, but it was just going along with like the freak of the week shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, think of Smallville or something, you know, every episode for season 1 at the very least was a freak of the week situation, kind of how this was for, you know, a handful of episodes, not even a little bit more than a handful of episodes, pretty much up until this point anyway. You know, we've had a couple that deviated from that, but nevertheless, that was the case. So to see it finally build up to something big, and this giant beast that dates back to Danzo and the betrayal of this chick, pretty good stuff, honestly, pretty good stuff there. Mitsuki's involvement, let's be honest, you know, we know, I mean, come on now, it's Orochimaru that's ordering this. I mean, there could be one other person, which I will not spoil in case people haven't seen the Mitsuki Gaiden chapter or whatever. You should read that. It'll give you a lot of context on this character and who he truly is. There's one other person that could potentially be, but more than likely we know it's fucking Orochimaru. He's the one that's, you know, ordering Mitsuki and shit like that. And you gotta think, you know, he claims he's changed. Orochimaru is seemingly on the up and up, but he's ordering Mitsuki to kill this chick, but at the same time, it's kind of justified to save the village. So it's like, is Orochimaru just kind of like on a, not necessarily as scumbaggy, well then again, maybe even more scumbaggy, who knows, we don't know what Orochimaru's truly up to at this point, but is he like a Danzo at this point, where by any means necessary we're gonna save the village? Is that where we're at with Orochimaru's character, and that's why he ordered Mitsuki to just kill off the little girl so we could save the village? Is that what he's trying to do at this point, like protect the village from the shadows? Kind of a little bit of a questiony thing right there. I think it was an interesting element, but I don't know why Boruto, the Boruto anime at the very least, is trying to act like the audience doesn't know shit. Like, if we didn't see Boruto Naruto the movie, or we didn't see Naruto Gaiden, or we didn't see fucking, you know, all of the shit prior to this that was out, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you acting like we're stupid? We fucking know what happened and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So a little bit annoyed with that. It's like, it's fucking Orochimaru. Stop it. Stop playing. I mean, if it ain't Orochimaru, even though we even seen in the flashback, it's the guy that has similar clothing to what Orochimaru was wearing in Naruto Gaiden. Stop it. Come on, stop playing with us right there. Get that out of here, you know what I'm saying? We know what's up. Speaking of Mitsuki, it was interesting seeing the dynamics of his character and his, you know, I guess relationship with Boruto in this episode. It kind of like was, up until this point, Mitsuki's a little weirdo, but Boruto just chalked it up to, hey, he's a fucking weirdo. This one, it started breaking out of that phase or that facade that Mitsuki was putting up, where he's like, hey, you know, I've been trying to figure out if you're my son, you know, my son, not literally my child, like, you know, the sun to my moon, so to speak. You know, that was one thing. Then also him saying about the class rep and even being willing to kill her. That was a couple things that is like, okay, so from here on out, their relationship is not going to be the same. And I'm really curious if they're going to play things out like what happened in Boruto Naruto the movie, as far as Boruto and Mitsuki's relationship, and of course the dynamics between them two and Sarada as well, once we get to that point, or it's going to remain like, I'm curious how they're going to handle it, because the way we're seeing things in the Boruto anime, it seems as though like when you watch Boruto Naruto the movie, none of this type of shit happened beforehand, you know what I mean? It was just kind of easy picking. So to see this, I hope that they carry a lot of this over into stuff like that, and we can reflect and go back to this, not necessarily with the flashbacks, because Naruto and Naruto Shippuden drowned us. It literally made us fucking gargle flashbacks on a weekly basis. So not necessarily saying that, but just to have some weight in the future on how these characters act and their relationships. And I mean, some pretty cool shit, you know, Boruto's eye, kind of seemingly like Obito's eye in a way. It transferred the fucking Nue beast from one place to another, and that's a pretty big beast. So you can tell Boruto's eye is super OP. Kind of curious at what given point are we going to see him master it. I'm imagining it's going to be a long time from now because he's a kid, but we do seemingly see it mastered, you know, in the first episode when he gets to that point where he's fighting that Kawaki guy, which we still haven't seen a fucking hair of, unless he's Iwabe, which I think really Iwabe and the kid with the glasses, I can't even fucking remember his name now, but all of these characters for the most part, I think, aside from the ones that was in the actual Boruto Naruto the movie, are going to be fodder / filler. They might not even hold any weight into the next couple arcs, but we gotta wait and see about that. So I don't really expect much from Iwabe or his connection to Kawaki. As a whole, the episode, really good stuff. I'm glad a lot of the things that occurred prior to this added up and meant something. So it's kind of like, okay, I still would have preferred some more clues as to Sumide's true identity leading up onto this bit, but the connections with Danzo and everything, even though, yeah, they pulled that straight out of their ass. Come on, Danzo had nothing going on. Danzo, yeah, he was crazy and he was up to some shit, but this is just like, hey, you know, Kishimoto didn't have this thought when he was writing Danzo's death, you know what I mean? That, oh yes, in Boruto we're gonna, come on, stop it. So it was pretty damn good. I ain't gonna lie. I felt as though this is one of the better episodes of Boruto. It's not the best one, because we've had some pretty damn awesome episodes, but it was pretty friggin' awesome. So I'd say it's a very good episode. It could have been great, but there was a couple things in there, and you know, the cocktease about Naruto and certain elements, I was like, oh, but it was still a pretty damn lit episode, and I'm glad to say that once again, Boruto, it's shocking a lot of people. A lot of people didn't think Boruto was gonna be this lit, but it is. And this Nui beast, it seems still based off the preview, we're gonna have our hands full, so I'm looking forward to that. Really curious what you guys thought about this episode though. Once again, what did you think about Sumide, the big reveal and kind of her character transformation? How did you feel about Boruto and Mitsuki's relationship in this one? Do you think that here on out it's gonna be a little bit different between the two of them, now that kind of Boruto got a little bit more of a grasp of who Mitsuki truly is? Also, why do you think they're acting like if we're fucking idiots and we don't know that that's either Orochimaru or, again, one of other person from the Mitsuki Gaiden chapter that it could potentially be, and the little fucking snakes and shit like that. And your overall thoughts of the episode. What do you think about Naruto, the cock tease of, hey, he's gonna fight? Oh, nah, we JK. And your overall thoughts. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.